Those are the words of Ross McEwen from Glasgow. He was reunited with the Bible of his great-great-uncle, who was a World War II airman, and it was brought home all thanks to a charity shop in Dover. Jackie Pearson is a support worker at Emmaus in the town. They're a charity, I'm sure we've spoken to them on the show here before, working hard to end homelessness. She found the Bible on the shelves of their charity shop and went on a journey, quite the journey in fact, to bring it back to the family of Flying Officer Norman McEwen. We've got Jackie on the line to tell us how it all happened. Jackie, thank you so much for being with us.
Hello.
So, tell us about this. How did you come across it in the first place? And you weren't expecting to find something like this, I'd wager.
No, not at all. So I was in the shop at the Emmaus community, and the shop manager had told me that some very interesting books had come in. I went over to the shelf and had a rummage, and I found this small book, and it was an active service Bible. And being ex-military, I thought, okay. So I opened it up and saw that it had been issued to a Norman S. McEwen from in the RAF, and he was from Stirling. And I just thought, this can't be on a shelf. I need to try and find the family. I was allowed to take the book off the shelf and was told, yes, please do. See if you can find the family. I got hold of a local historian, Phil Eden, and I explained what had happened, and his reply to me, there are no promises of success. These things are very hit and miss.
Oh, and you thought, that's a challenge for me.
However, Phil worked his magic, and within 10 minutes, he had found and sent me a photograph of Norman.
Wow.
He had sent me a newspaper clipping which had reported Norman's death. And then he also sent me a screenshot of Ross that he found on a well-known genealogy site. And within minutes, I was chatting to Ross.
Oh my goodness.
I know. He was absolutely over the moon. Yeah.
That's incredible. I mean, that is some seriously quick work. And I know you said, you're ex-military yourself. How important is it to return these things? You don't want them to be out in the wilderness, do you? Not belonging to anyone. How important was it for you to get it back to where it rightfully belonged?
To me, it was very important. Like I say, I'm ex-military. My dad's ex-military. My paternal grandfather fought in World War I and World War II. So to me, it just meant so much that this had to get back to the family, and that was my main priority.
Wow, it's incredible. And you talked then about how very quickly you were talking to Ross himself. Now, I know you've only caught up once, so Ross is on the line with us. Morning, Ross. Thank you for being with us.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having me and for spending some time in this story. And good morning, Jackie. It's wonderful to speak to you again.
Hi, Ross. Wonderful to speak to you too.
So, Ross, I mean, did it come a bit of a bolt out of the blue for you, really?
Entirely. From just typing away at home, and then when one's phone buzzed on a random Wednesday afternoon with a gentleman, Phil Eden, as we mentioned, who deserves a lot of credit, saying that a charity shop in Dover, somewhere I regret I've never even been, has found a Bible that seems to have belonged to your great-great-uncle, and would you like it back? And it was a crazy moment. I'm a big family history enthusiast, and Norman's story happens to be one that I know acutely well, and I was very close to his now late son, Rognevald. So, and as we approach VE Day, it was fortuitous in every way, and I can't express my and our family's thanks and gratitude enough to the Emmaus Dover charity and to Jackie for the great care and attention that they paid to this matter, and the Bible, which is in front of me as I speak to you right now. Pristine condition. It's been very well looked after. Where it's been for the last 81 years is a bit of a mystery, I think. Norman never made it home from the war, but his Bible now has, and that's very special to me and my father and the whole family. It was a wonderful round-robin email to write to everyone.
I bet it was.
Norman is known to us.
Oh, that's incredible. And I mean, it's a real full circle moment. And the fact that you already knew about your great-great-uncle's story and how, can you tell us a little bit about him? And obviously we don't know how this Bible ended up in Dover, but tell us a little bit about the man.
Absolutely. So Norman was one of 5 children, 4 sons and a girl, in a very small house with a policeman father and a mother from Swansea in Orkney, from a rather impoverished crofting family. And Norman wanted to go into, he had his own printing press. His elder brother, my ancestor, was a reporter. But as with many servicemen and women when war broke out, served their country, signed up to try and save liberty and freedom for us all, which we thankfully still enjoy to this day. And while Norman died, he was killed in the Battle of Arnhem, which was a tragic affair in the Netherlands, and he's actually buried there. I'm visiting his grave for the first time in June,
Wow.
In a few weeks' time. But Norman's son, Rognevald, who I think was 6 or 7 when his father died, lived a great life in science and actually working in the military as well. So Norman is the only, thankfully, the only loss that we had during the Second World War. All of his siblings had UK-based roles in the war effort. So Norman does stick out for us, and his name is mentioned on the war memorial in his hometown. And I attended the remembrance service for the first time there last year, laying a wreath in his memory, but also in everyone's memory. We owe a lot of countless men and women for their sacrifice. And in a way, for me, being sat up here in Scotland with this wonderful little book that's in pristine condition, it represents a much larger effort, not just back in the 40s, but the great care that Emmaus and Jackie and Phil and the whole team took to send it back to us, which is so special.
It is so special. And Jackie, that must be so nice for you to be hearing how much it means to Ross and his family, because, you know, you don't even know what you've lost at that point, but to have this item be brought back, and we don't know how it ended up in the shop in Dover, do we? We don't know who bought it in, is that right?
No, we've got no idea, and we'd love to find out
Yeah.
who bought it in. We really would. I mean, it has been a very emotional journey.
Yeah.
I have cried when I've told friends. They've cried. It's just been very emotional. In the card that I sent with the book was a poem that I found, and it was written by a chap from 90 Squadron Bomber Command who died 2 days after he wrote the poem.
Wow.
And it's called The Last Landing. Sergeant Alfred Burford's Sleep. And the last line, it says, "Your journey's done, now land." And I feel, so I'm getting emotional.
That's okay.
But I feel that that's what's happened to the Bible.
Yeah.
The journey's now done. It's landed. It's with family. And to me, that means more than anything. Norman is back with family.
That's really nice. And is that how you feel too, Ross? You know, you've got a piece of your
absolutely.
family history that has been brought back to you that you never even knew you were missing.
No, I regret to say that while we're in possession of photographs of Norman and accounts of his life, we actually don't have any of his possessions.
Yeah.
So this Bible actually is the one and only. I actually have the lovely card Jackie sent in front of me as well. So this is the only possession we have of his. And his mother, my great-great-grandmother, for the next 15 years after Norman died until her death, she would insert tributes to him every year or so. I don't think any mother or any parent recovers after losing a son or daughter, but I think perhaps that was her way of coping. And yes, I mean, Jackie puts it in words that are beyond what I can manage, I think, in eloquence. But yes, it's a little piece of Norman and that sacrifice. And as I said, we're very lucky in a way that he was our, inverted commas, only loss during that war for freedom and liberty. But yes, it's just remarkable that, again, from the other side of the island, quite literally, to be sent back up. And I think, if I may say, Jackie, your past as a veteran, I think plays a role in this. So from one ex-service person to another, to Norman, I again, on behalf of my father and our family, we're extremely grateful. And it won't live in a box or in a cupboard. It's going to be well used and well taken care of, and again, some pristine condition with colourful illustrations, with a message from obviously the late King in the front. So and the card will be well looked after as well. So no, it's very special, very meaningful, and represents a time that we owe everything to, really, the sacrifice and efforts of those men and women.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's brilliant. Honestly, both of you, thank you so much for coming on this morning and sharing this incredible story with us. And I suppose the only missing piece that we're still yet to find out is how this Bible ended up in the charity shop in Dover. So if anyone is listening now, and maybe you know someone who donated it, or maybe you are the person who donated it, if you are, or if you've got any idea where it may have come from, you can always get in touch with us here. You can give us a call, 0800 756 1111, and we would love to fill in the history of this for Jackie and Ross. But Jackie and Ross, honestly, thank you so much this morning for sharing with us, and I'm glad that we could reconnect you on the show. What a special bond you've now got forever.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, what a brilliant, brilliant story. There's so many amazing things happening across the county ahead of VE Day tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Brilliant to chat to Jackie Pearson and Ross McEwen there. And yeah, if you're listening and you know how that Bible ended up in the charity shop in Dover, please get in touch with us. 0800 756 1111. Right, we'll get your latest weather and travel on the way this morning. It's Safe with you. Here's Paul Young.